Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to One Hub Racing. We're here once again tonight for the P2 tier. It's going to be an absolutely brilliant Grand Prix, folks. It's one you do not want to miss. We are around the Hungary in Hungary, the track to host almost the second most races in Formula 1. It's the second longest race holding streak, and it is going to be a great race tonight. We haven't raced here since season 19, but we're here at the Hungary once again. I'm joined, as per every Friday night, alongside Matthew. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, despite the events that have been happening in the world in the last few days. But yeah, I'm a little bit downbeat after my disaster of a race as well, but you know, it could be worse. I managed to see the car home, and I'm excited to be here for another week of 3 in action in the P2 tier.
Yes, Matthew didn't have the best of races, but still he's our favourite driver here in the P2 tier. But we're going to be getting going shortly, folks. We have started the stream a couple minutes early tonight. You'll understand why in a few moments' time. But we have got ready early. We're just waiting for a few more guys to join. There's 14 currently on the grid. I think we're expecting a few more than that. I think there'll be a few more here. There is some grid penalties tonight as well that we are going to run you through. So we have grid penalties for, and wait for it, this is very interesting, ERT Larkin, Waitsy, JM, J-Luke and Lukey. Now you may be wondering, who are those? Well, JM, J. Cole and Larkin are the top 3 in the championship. The only one of them not taking a grid penalty is J. Cole. So big opportunity for him tonight to claw back some points on JM. It's 52 points for JM, then 49 for J. Cole, and then just a singular point behind his teammate is Larkin. Nick in 4th with Lukey in 5th, Rage Hunter in 6th, Lars Larson in 7th, despite what has been a fairly poor season for him by his standards. Schnitzel in 8th on 25, Waitsy in 9th on 20, and then Cam K in 10th with 17 for Scuderia Ferrari. So still lots to play for here in the championship. Red Bull are kind of running away with it a little bit in the manufacturers, but we can run you through that quickly as well, folks, if it would like to load. But yes, it is Oracle Red Bull Racing on 97 points, leading by a mountain in terms of how many races are left. It's then Mercedes in 2nd with 59, it's Williams Racing in 3rd on 52, Aston Martin Cognizant in 4th with 49, Alfa Romeo in 5th with 34, McLaren in 6th with 31, Alpine in 7th with 28. Then it is the American-based team. It's Haas in 8th with 26 points. It's then Ferrari with 17. And AlphaTauri are your wooden spoon holders at the moment in the Constructors' Championship at the bottom with 16. Only a point off Ferrari, but still at the bottom. And we're going to be getting going shortly. But Matthew, what can we expect tonight around the Hungary?
Well, if it rains, there could be all sorts of chaos to happen, and it's always unpredictable what the weather is going to do. And yeah, there's other stuff that you're going to have to be careful in turn 1, the start of the race as well, because it's going to be very, very tight, and the concertina effect is going to be pretty much aggressive if you take it wrong. You saw what happened with Valtteri Bottas in real life a couple of Hungarian Grand Prix ago. In real life, he skittleballed out the 2 McLarens and the Red Bulls, and yeah, that could very well happen tonight as well. We hope it doesn't, but that's a possibility if someone gets it slightly wrong.
You may notice as well that Owen Weiss is in the Williams for tonight. That is actually because Owen has he left as a main. Wasn't able to make the race times or something along those lines, but he's able to race tonight, so he is just hopping in a spare car. It's Cam, and then I believe there is another Ferrari driver who has unfortunately left the lobby prematurely, as we are waiting to go shortly. But we can run you through some pre-race interviews that we don't normally get to do. Of course, last week, if you didn't watch Imola, we'll just give you this quick brief. The top 2 in the championship, JM and J. Cole, both collided in through the Verranti Tamburello, and it was a bit of a personal collision for both. JM said in relation to, not the incident, in relation to his rivals Red Bull, he's battling the 2 Red Bull drivers, he said, it seems like they have a good relationship together, so combined with their skills, they will have a good run until the end. Now, I don't know about you, but I think JM is slightly being a little bit too passive in this championship. He seems to be downplaying his abilities a little bit.
Yeah, perhaps he just feels like if he starts to believe he can win it, that's when the pressure starts to set in, and maybe he feels that he can't handle it as much as the others around him. So maybe he just wants to play second fiddle and probably go for it in the latter stages of the championship, which is a very good move to do. He's there, he's got the opportunity to win it, but I'm sure he believes he can. But if he says things publicly, he's probably just making sure that he doesn't become too keen and try to make silly mistakes. He's got the speed, as we've seen, but let's see what happens in the final few weeks of the session. But yeah, he's definitely more able than he thinks he is.
Yeah, he's definitely being very, very humble. Waitsy did an interview saying that the Hungaroring is all about being on the right tyres at the right time and have a little bit of luck as well. Waitsy is taking a grid penalty for this one. He'll need a little bit of luck, but we're getting loaded in here in the Hungaroring. You can see a beautiful picture of the last corner there on your screen now. It is a fabulous track. It's sometimes called Monaco without the walls. It is very difficult for overtaking. Matthew, did you find that in one of the earlier races?
Yeah. You have to be really good. You have to make sure you are going to go for the move, because if you do it half-heartedly, you are going to end up in the barriers with the other cars. So it's difficult to overtake, but there are opportunities. As you see, there's into turn one, and there's probably another one. You could potentially do it into the chicane, but that's a bit risky. If you're not 100% certain, you probably should wait for the DRS down into turn one to make the overtake.
Probably, and of course last week's results in Imola, which I just realised I didn't run through, it was first place for ERT Nick, it was second place for Axel Larkin, followed by his teammate XLJ Cole, it was then JM in fourth, with Schnickel in fifth. But we are just going to take a brief moment, folks. Part of the One Hub community, of course, ran by Nick, who is under a British licence, as you can see just in front of you, and of course I feel there's no introduction needed. We all know the unfortunate news that broke last night. We're going to take a quick minute's silence, folks, to remember Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. It's an unfortunate week for all, but her life will be remembered by a lot of folks here tonight. You can see drivers sporting all black helmets, and of course we did just have our minute silence, so may Queen Elizabeth rest in peace. But we're going to get on to the racing action here tonight, folks, as we are getting ready to go here in qualifying. You can see a few people out on the wet compound tyres and the intermediates, that is both deserving grid penalties, and they do want to save the tyres. But there is going to be a few people starting laps. It's going to be Owen Wyatt who will start. Oh no, it won't be Owen Wyatt, apologies. It'll be the championship leader. It'll be JM who... No, it won't. He has a grid penalty too. He's back into the pits. It will be Owen Wyatt after all that, who is going to set the first lap of the session here in the Hungaroring as he heads down towards turn number 1.
Yes, he certainly does, and it's always good to see Owen Wyatt in any car, regardless of the team livery. It's a shame that he had to drop out for full time, but he's always welcome back on the grid any time, and I hope he does himself. I'm sure he will, but I'm sure he'll have fun tonight.
Yep, here he is up towards Turn number 4, it's a really tricky left-hander, as you can see, but Owen White navigates it well in towards 5. It's an uphill right-hander. You can take that curb on the outside, on the inside, apologies. I know there was a few spinners back on the old games. Bump over the 6-7 chicane and flick it into the left-hand side. Then flick it into the right, also in 4th gear. Get the power on as early as you can. This is a flat-out left, but if we do get some wet conditions, oh my, is that corner a dangerous one. You can really run wide on that one and just about avoid an invalidation, but Owen White is not doing too shabby here as he enters the final sector. Of course, this is the penultimate corner. We've seen Max Verstappen do a 360 there. Trust me, it's an easy corner to spin at. Owen White runs a little bit wide through the final corner, but you want to pin the throttle as early as possible and bolt towards the line. It's a 1:16.2 for Owen White to get us underway here in 1 Hub P2 tier. That's not a bad lap at all, as Cam with a 1:17.5. Owen White, of course, raced in the P1 tier last season. He definitely has pace. We see Okeke entering in towards the final corner. Turn number 14, of course, 14 corners around the Hungary ring. To the line comes Okeke. It's going to be a 16.8, and there'll be enough to go third. Colin Ormason goes to second for Mercedes. Colin on the back of some decent pace in him, and the results mightn't have shown, but he did have some very good pace. And now we quickly jump to Delgesu in Haas. We'll see, can he improve in his second sector. First sector was decent for Delgesu, but we'll see what he can do here. It's a 54.8. It's quicker than Owen Wyatt, I believe. I do realise I have a timing screen beside me that I could look at. It wasn't quicker than Owen White, but we've seen Nick go purple in sector number 1. We'll jump on board with the Mercedesman in a moment's time as Larkin retires from the session. They are all engine penalties, folks. Fatality has joined us, so we will have one more. It's Delgesu to 4th. We'll jump to Nick now, who's setting some good times, but he's almost been blocked by an Alpine there. That could cost him some lap time as he heads around the, actually, DRS straight. There's a there's no DRS there, apologies. There were plans for DRS to be there, is what I was meant to say, but it was never created. They never put it there, but I feel it's a bit of a short straight to have DRS. You can certainly use your ERS and get a good run. But here comes Nick to the line. Pole position for the Mercedes. It's a 1-3 for the Silver Arrow so far here in Hungary. It's a 1:16 flat for Nick to get the fastest time on the board. We're looking at Thomas Mack, who's starting a lap time now. But the real challenger is this man, J. Cole, behind. Let's stick on board with the Red Bull.
Yeah, he's unfortunately already validated one lap. It's very easy to do around here. The track limits are a bit harsh at some places, but look out for turn 1 in the race. That caused a lot of problems down in the P4 tier earlier. There was a lot of people spinning there, and of course coming up into this blind corner, if you will, is a little bit tricky as well. But for now, he's not having any such issues. He has done a 28.1 sector 1, which is slower than he'd gone the previous time around. I think it was just there on the left that he possibly invalidated before, but for now it's through the chicane pretty smoothly, and he runs the curb pretty nicely actually. But if you try to do that with heavier fuel load, you may just bounce into the barriers. You can get away with it in quali, and you have to be very, very fed throttle through there as well. But 55.8 through sector 2 with sector time was 27 something, so he's pretty much on the money to be in the top 4, but whether he loses or gains time around the final corner or goes into the pits remains to be seen, as he's taken the latter option and goes to the pits.
Schnicksel gone to 4th for Alfa Romeo. Thomas Mack has gone to 5th for Alpine, so not a bad job for those two so far, but still fatality. J. Luke, Lukey and J. Cole. Apologies, J. Luke and Lukey won't be setting laps. It'll only be fatality and J. Cole, who are still yet to get on the board. We're only going to have 10 laps in this session. That really goes to show the effect engine penalties can have, and I suppose when one person takes an engine penalty, the others feel obliged to, because they will probably end up gaining a few positions from it. Larkin has got very lucky on this one, and he's been the highest of the engine penalty runners, meaning he'll start the highest out of all of them. He's looked out a little bit there, and Red Bull could still look to possibly get Larkin up onto the podium. And he said this is not a track he historically likes, but he has strong pace in it in the last game, so he wants to see Was it just a one-off, or can he really carry that pace over, as there's nobody on a qualifying run at the moment? 10 minutes and 22 seconds left to go in this session. Owen Wyatt has just started one, I believe, for Williams. Currently second is Owen, as he heads down towards the second corner on this marvellous Hungaroring circuit. 4.381 kilometres it is, and flick in towards turn number 3, heading up towards 4. It's a flick into the left. It's a blind entry, and you can just about see the curb as you're entering. Of course, there was a horrible crash there 1 year back with Felipe Massa. It was a hefty impact, but it was due to a spring that fell off a car in front into the bouncy 6 and 7 chicane. You really want to mount that curb as you flick in to the left-hander of 8 and 9. Power down, flat through 10. Absolutely it is for Owen Wyatt. No lifts through there into the pretty treacherous turn 11 if it's wet conditions. Owen Wyatt doesn't set a half bad lap in the middle sector there at all as he heads down towards the penultimate corner of turn 13. It's a long left, and you just have to wait to put on the power, and then into the final corner. It's a mistake for Owen Wyatt. You don't want to run that wide. Absolutely not. He's lost a bit of lap time there. Be surprised if this is an improvement. It isn't. Not a good lap there for Owen Wyatt. He lost a lot of time through that final corner.
Yes, he was definitely on for an improvement as well, above that small error, but it's easily done. It's a very tricky, deceptive final corner, but you can't go that wide through there. But nevertheless, he remains in P2, pretty handily placed, and I'm just looking to see if anyone else down lower end of the top 10 is gonna start a lap anytime soon.
Keke, I believe, is next. There's only 4 cars, or now 6 cars, as we see one of the Mercedes, one of the Alpines. It's Colin Mason who is out on track for another attempt, and Thomas Mack will follow. Not quite sure what Keke is doing, but he has stopped here, and he's letting one of the Red Bulls through. That is the Red Bull of J. Cole, who he's letting through, and J. Cole is going to start a lap now. J. Cole looking to try and win this season of One Hub Racing to the final corner. Let's see what the Red Bull can do. Of course, we're on board with Owen Wyatt. We'll have a look off board the Red Bull this time, as we'll keep an eye on everybody else's laps. Owen Wyatt has invalidated his next run, so if he was looking to go for another attempt, it's not doable now, but he's into the pits anyways.
Yeah, certainly. I guess if you invalidated the final sector, it doesn't leave you much choice but to go get a fresh set of boots. Maybe take out a little bit of fuel to try and find a 10th here or there. He doesn't need to find much to go provisionally pole, but Nick is back out on track on an outlap as we speak. But the red col of J-Bull is doing quite well, necessarily through Sector 1 with the 27.2, which is about a little bit off his personal best, which he did earlier in the session, but because he invalidated, it didn't count as a time, so that's why you can see him down in P15 for now. But he's through Sector 2, and he's into the tricky high speed Sector 3, and he's got a couple of corners to go. He's a few tenths down through Sector 2's best runners as well, so this is not going to be provisional pole position, but it is going to be a time on the board, which is quite important when you have any penalties behind you. What is he going to be? He's going to be P3.
Not bad at all for J. Cole. We see the 2 Mercedes on a run now. We're looking at Colin R. Mason, who is on a run here, and he's entering in towards the chicane. And a fun fact about a father and son duo, of course, we've the father and son duo here in One Hub, but Max Verstappen took his first pole around this Hungaroring in 2019, and his father took his first podium in 1994 around the Hungaroring. Jos Verstappen, of course. Not quite sure where Colin's father finished in one of the earlier races, but if Colin could take pole here tonight, he would be ecstatic.
Yes, I think every driver wants to start a race on pole, and this is probably one of the 2 that you do want to start, because it's very notoriously difficult to overtake, as we mentioned.
Colin goes to second. Brilliant lap from Colin R. Mason. Nick is improving as well. Mercedes, of course, took surprise pole this season in the Hungaroring, and just what Matthew was saying about pole position. Pole has won here in the Hungaroring, 15 out of the last 36 races. It's an important one if you want to nail it, as Nick crosses the line now with a 15.8 and absolutely extends that gap between himself and his teammate Colin Mason. Mercedes are rocking around the Hungaroring. Let's see, can the mighty Red Bulls challenge them? Of course, one Larkin is already out of the session due to an engine penalty, but if J. Cole could get himself onto pole position, it would really be a statement in this championship, with JM starting from the back.
Yes, it would be. I am actually generally surprised how many grid penalties we're going to have for engine changes at this race in particular. I generally thought I would have been the only one just to pull something strange going on, but no, it turns out that it is a catching thing and everyone feels obliged to do it, so appreciate that out there on the track. We have a lot of things to keep an eye on in the race, which is about 6 or 7 minutes away, given the time for the end of this session and the low times and everything. We have a reminder, we do not have the formation lap, so we will be straight to racing action at the top of the race. But who's going to be starting in that potentially crucial pole position at the moment? We have provisionally ERT Nick ahead of his Mercedes teammate there, Colin, Owen in third, and Jake Cole in fourth, which is a good starting position for him with his championship rivals down towards the back.
Yeah, only one car on the circuit. It is Fatality, as I believe Owen Wyatt is coming out of the pits to join him. Just keep a look on your left hand side, you'll see the outlap dash, and it is Owen Wyatt who has come out to join Fatality. Fatality is currently 11th due to the fact he hasn't set a qualifying time yet, but in the overall standings, Fatality lies 15th with 9 points only. He's only had 2 finishes this season. He finished 12th and 6th, and I think he's going to want to improve on that.
Yes, I'm sure he's going to want to improve quickly, and I'm sure he will do very shortly. But there were a few incidents which I'll talk about in the race, of course, but look out for fire between Cam and the other guy, Cam, who's not actually here this week, so that should be enough of an impetus for Cam in the Ferrari, who is here, to avoid a repeat offence to the steward's office, but it was resulting in a time penalty to Cam that's not in the Ferrari. I think he's in the McLaren, but he's not here. So that was something that happened, and yeah, it is a commentator's nightmare when you have two people with similar names very close together, and now we have two in this tier, so
Fatality. Fatality has just invalidated there. But there was another penalty last week as well. Just while we're talking about it, it was Thomas Mack who got a 5-second penalty for resetting to track, and there was a 10-second penalty for Chris as well for an incident with ERT Larkin. Neither Chris or Cam are here, so they've obviously taken that penalty well. But we're looking at Owen Wyatt out on track now. We see Colin Mason come out on track to possibly take his first pole position of the season. He's been running well, a little bit off his teammate, and I think it may be a bit too big of a margin, because of course Nick will have another lap in him as well. As you can see, the Petronas AMG Mercedes coming out on track now as Colin Mason is actually starting his lap here. So we're going to run through this one. There's multiple lines you can take through turn number 1. You can run a wide line or run a tight line. Colin Mason is going to opt for the tight line, third gear, short shifting up to 4th, down towards turn number 2. You want to get on that curb and nosedive practically into the corner, take a bit of curb, short shift up to 4th, and just try pin the throttle all the way through 3 and as close as you can to 4. The line there you can see is almost pretty much the breaking point for turn number 4, as that is a crash. It is Fatality or Schnitzel. It's one of the Alfa Romeos who's gone there. We see Colin Mason pass his teammate as he enters in towards the 6-7 chicane. If you run your tyre along where Colin has, along that grey patch, you actually get more grip. It's one of those surfaces, as the Red Bull of J. Cole has another statement to say here in qualifying in P2. This has just ramped up the ambitions of Colin Mason and Nick that little bit much more. Colin Mason makes a bit of a mistake through turn number 11 as he enters 12. He is slightly down on his time. This could be the business end of the session for Mercedes. Colin has backed off. It's going to be down to Nick to take pole position for Mercedes AMG. J. Cole is not improving on his time. Owen Wyatt is slightly improving on his time, and J. Luke retires from the session. Of course, it's an engine penalty for J. Luke. We're looking at Owen Wyatt. His middle sector was a new PB. It was not purple. Purple sector 1 belongs to Nick. The rest of the purple sectors belong to the man currently on pole, J. Cole. We see multiple improvements. It is Owen Wyatt improving, Okeke is improving, Cam K is improving in sector number 2, and Cam K has just crossed the line to go up to 6th. There was a 9/10 of a second improvement for Cam. Really great stuff. Owen Wyatt slightly improving, but the final sectors where he's quickest, it's a much better line this time. Oh no, he's round, and Owen Wyatt will end the session in the worst possible way. He bins it at the final corner. What about Nick? Can Nick improve to possibly take pole position here in Hungary? He's won 2 times this season. He won in Imola, he won in Austria. Can he take pole in Hungary to make it a European triple? He runs really wide, and it's invalidated for ERT, Nick, and I think that might just be this session over with. I think J. Cole has snuck it at the depth, and Red Bull Racing, once again, the odds are against them. But just like a lucky gambler, the stakes are up.
Certainly are. He's going to finish his lap to see what he would have done. That's just going to annoy him, because that
would have got pole.
Position.
He would have got pole. That's unbelievable for Nick. He made a massive mistake, but he would have got pole position. To be fair, he would have gained some time with that mistake because he ran wide and kept it flat, but horrible for Nick, but more motivation for the race. Oriel J. Cole is on pole position for Red Bull Racing here in the Hungaroring. Nick and Colin Mason second and third for Red Bull Racing. It will be 2 Mercedes against 1 Red Bull, a scenario we've seen many times before. But how will the race end up? We're starting in just a couple moments time, folks, but we're going to just have a quick word from our sponsors to round out the session.
Yes, so thank you to our wonderful partners and sponsors here at One Hub Racing. This is season 21, and our sponsors are Next Level Racing, who sponsor the league by providing prizes to the winners, and Pure Sim Gear, who sponsor the league by providing a pair of their sim racing gloves to the driver with the most combined poles and fastest laps. And a brand new sponsor for this season is Gamergoo, who sponsor the league by providing Gamergoo samples to trophy winners. And our partners over at Vespertine, we are now partnered with them, and they support our championship prizes. And you have ERT, who partnered the ERT Go and Get Stuff Award and the league trophies. And finally, we have SimGrid. We are powered by SimGrid, and we run our seasons through their community platform, and that's where we find all the standings and all the drivers that aren't going to be here. So thank you to all those wonderful people, and of course the TAS operators. But I will hand back to you to go through the qualifying results.
It was only 9 laps on the board from the end of the session, and it was Oriel J. Cole who starts on pole position, followed by his fellow Briton Nick, and then the Welshman Colin Mason in third. Owen Wyatt starts from fourth with Schnicksel in fifth. Cam starts sixth with Del Gesu in seventh. Thomas Mack 8th, Okeke 9th, Larkin in 10th, Fatality 11th, J. Cole 12th, Waitsy 13th, JM 14th, and then Lukey for Aston Martin will start 15th, but 10 to 15, of course, taking grid penalties for the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Yes, that's also an unfortunate time for a driver to leave the session, but that is how they stand, and this feels like it's going to be a sensational battle for victory today.
There is somebody going to get a TAS penalty. I have just noticed there's somebody down as player 12. It is the driver starting in 8th. I'm not quite sure who it is, but they are going to get a TAS penalty. And Matthew, who's going to win this one?
Well, I'm usually one to say from the back of the grid you're going to have a winner, but I think it's going to come from nearer the front today, and I am going to go for, no pressure here, but I'm going to go for Nick to go back-to-back, and the first 3-time winner this season, And yeah, so that's my money. Watch Nick Egan. He's very, very competitive, and we've seen him before, very quick, and he seems to be back to his best form after his bit of a down year last time out. So look out for that, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone would come through from the outside the top 10 just to prove me wrong.
Yep, we can see Nick and Colin's garage there. It looks like the soft tyres for Colin might be the tyre of choice, but of course that will change. I think that it won't be a test penalty. I think it's just Thomas Mack who's having some internet issues, but we are waiting for the drivers to get in. Lap record, of course, around here is set by a Mercedes, and who else? It's, of course, Lewis Hamilton in 2020, set at 1:16.627. You're at a 50% throttle for a lap around here. 50% at full throttle, apologies, for a lap around here. It's not as much as most tracks. And, of course, do let us know in the stream chat who you think's going to win. And I am quite concerned that we may have a bit of a glitch on our hands because we don't seem to be loading in.
Yes, that's always a concern that we have, especially...
No, never mind, we're getting going. Thank you for proving me wrong for once, Codemasters. That's a first of hopefully many.
Well, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
We have a Nick Easy Dub in the chat from Speed Josh. Thank you for giving us your prediction. We love to see them. No formation lap here, of course, in the Hungary. We go straight in to the racing action, and we're getting ready to go here, folks. We're going to go on to the start grid. It's a 618 metre run from pole to turn number 1. Who will lead? We go racing in Hungary. It's a quick start from J. Cole, but can he get away? Well, it's a horror start for Colin O'Mason. It's a dream start for Owen Wyatt, who leads into turn number 1 for Williams Racing. Colin O'Mason up the inside. He's got the second gear absolutely nailed down, and he's looking to take second place. It's Red Bull side by side with the Mercedes. Nick is struggling at the back, and J. Cole is going to hold this one here in second. Spot moves in the back as well for Del Guessu, looking to move up a spot. He's already up 1. He's looking to try and take 2. There is a car off. It's Okeke off at the back, but Owen Wyatt leads the opening lap here of the Hungarian Grand Prix. J. Cole in second loses the lead to the man who started from 4th on the grid. Unbelievable launch for the Williams, and it's even more unbelievable because he's on the medium compound of tyres. Everybody else is on the softs apart from Larkin, Thomas Mack and Okeke, as there's a car up the inside of Saluki, up the inside of ERT Larkin, a man fighting for the championship, but he's really struggling on those medium compound tyres. That's the problem here. The hard compound tyres, I should say, are an awful tyre to heat up, and Lukey's taking advantage of that, getting past ERT Larkin, but Owen Wyatt leads the opening lap of the race. The only fatality is ironically not fatality. It's Okeke who has gone round at turn number 1.
Yes, a very high-paced start there and a lot of position changes, and I think we're nowhere near finished on that front, but Larkin is on the hard tyres. He's playing the long game, which is not always a bad thing to do. But
move here, swap for the Mercedes. I think Colin might have just let Nick through. Nick feels he has the pace, and he's gone through on Colin or Mason. It's P3 for Nick now and P4 for Colin or Mason, which is not great considering they started second and third, but Owen Wyatt got the launch on everyone here on the opening lap. Schnitzel holds position in 5th, Del Guessu up 1, Cam down 1. Lukey is up 7 on the opening lap. Unbelievable race start for Lukey. J. Cole is up 3 to 9th. Larkin holds position in 10th with our championship leader JM on the back of one of his rivals here. This is for 10th place. JM currently sits 11th, Thomas Mack 12th, Waitsy 13th, and then Okeke, I'm not quite sure if he picked up some damage. No, he didn't pick up any damage, but fatality made the early pit stop. 1 of 2 you must make here in One Hub Racing, but Owen Wyatt really has good pace at the front, and he's looking to extend this gap and possibly take a first race win of the season.
Yes, possibly.
Thomas Mack is spun at the back. No damage for Thomas Mack, apart from maybe his confidence. as he's taken a tip round, and Owen Wyatt actually, oh, hold on a second, it's the final corner I was catching him out in qualifying. The final corner was calling him out here, and Owen Wyatt is down to 6th place from the lead of the Grand Prix. Unbelievable scenes here in the Hungaroring. The race leader has folded at a very early stage of a 35 lap Grand Prix. Owen Wyatt down to 6th. Oriel J. Cole is your new race leader.
Yes, new race leader, but someone who's led races before is right behind him, and he's going to be hassling him to try and find a way back into P1 from where he feels that he could have started, but as it stands, it's pretty much as we started, and Colin is backing up his teammate very, very well there, and he's going to form a bumper to those behind, especially the championship rivals down in P10 at the moment with Larkin on the hard tyres, but watch out for him. Later on in the races, he will be on the better tyres the longer this race goes. You could say he could have a chance of victory as well, but there's a yellow flag again. But KK is oh,
there's a KK at the back. That's unfortunate for him. He's not running too well, and he's going to be overtaken by Cam. Cam pitted while we were going through that Owen Wyatt drama. Cam pitted, and the thing here is, apologies, Colin or Mason genuinely looks quicker than Nick at this point in the race. Nick does have the fastest lap of the race. I know on lap 1 we've seen an 18-second lap or something from Thomas Mack, but obviously that one isn't true, as we see another early pit stop. J-Luke into the pits, and is this just a case of a strategy, or did the soft tyres genuinely fall off this quickly?
Yeah, the soft tyres are really, really bad at falling off very, very quickly, so yeah, it's definitely ditch them as soon as you can, because you're going to have about 2 more laps of maximum use out of them. Grip is starting to fade already. You can probably see a little bit of sliding as you come through the last corner there, but yeah, it's probably best to go onto, I would say onto the mediums is a better race tyre, but of course hards will last longer, so it's really a bit of a coin flip really as to which tyre you go on next.
J. Cole managed to pull out in 1 second, but he made a mistake in the middle sector. Nick has followed that up with a mistake of his own, and now the gap is back out to 8/9 of a second. I think Nick will get DRS on this run, which is what he needs if he wants to lead here in Hungary. There's a yellow flag as for a fatality at the back. Our first lap hitter, pretty much, he was trying a bit of an Esteban Ocon strategy. There we go, Colin or Mason into the pits. Very early stop for him, and surprisingly it's not the lead Mercedes that gets the strategy choice. Nick obviously feels he's okay on these tyres, and he's going to run onto possibly lap number 5 here. Could even go one more maybe, but it really depends how his tyres are feeling. Owen Wyatt set the best 3rd sector on his last attempt, so not a bad job for him. After spinning, he made his mistake in the last sector, but ironically it's his quickest sector on the circuit, as Lukey pulls into the pits after a flying start. He will come out ahead of J-Luke in 11th position, but gap at the front is still 0.8 of a second.
Yes, it's a very even battle between those, and it's curious to see who's Lockheed is now up to P7 on those hard tyres in which he
I have to say, just quickly, Nick's tyres are doing substantially better than J. Cole's here.
Yes, I was going to say that...
No, they're not, it's the other way around. I can't read, seemingly.
Usually Nick has complete control of his tyres, but this is a track that throws all that out of the water. It's bumpy, it's risky.
Oh, this is not good. That is not good. Fatality has just gone a lap down, and Okeke is going to do the same if the leaders don't pit, and the leaders don't pit, and oh, that's not a good start to this race. We have 2 cars already all running the risk of going a lap down. One is a lap down, and the other is now a lap down, so that's Okeke and Fatality's chances of points practically gone in this one, because they are already lapped down. They've served the 2 mandatory pit stops, mind you, so Okeke could still get back, but that's the end for Fatality. He's retired in the pits, and we see Waitsy, one of our grid penalty runners, pit here for McLaren, and let's see what tyres he goes on to. I imagine it'll be the mediums like most of the guys here. No, he's going to go different. It'll be the hard compound tyres for Waitsy. Gap at the front is almost pulled out of DRS, and that's what J. Cole wants to do before he gets into his Oracle Red Bull Racing pit box, of course. The Red Bull crew quite good at pit stops, but this is a video game, and that doesn't really apply.
No, sometimes you can have you can press X at the right bomber, you can be purple, and then still have an error. So that's quite an annoying little feature I found. Sometimes I forget I've got to press X. So anyway, that's a different. You can probably map it to a different button if you want.
Colin Mason. That was a decent move. I believe he's gone up the inside in the chicane. He's got past Thomas Mack for 8th spot. Of course, Colin Mason's tyres are very much fresher than Thomas Mack's as he gets the move done. Nick and Schnicksel into the pits. Owen Wide is going to have a go at Delgesu here. This is for 2nd spot. Owen Wide was in the lead of this race. He got the lead in the opening lap, but he spun on lap number 3. Let's down the inside of the Haas comes Owen Wide. Delgesu leaves plenty of space on the inside, and Owen Wide gets that one done. As simple as riding a bike. You never forget how to do one of those moves, and his teammate is going to try and go up the inside of Delgesu as well. This is a bit more riskier for our championship leader, but JM proves why he is our championship leader, and he's now up to 3rd spot. Great move there by JM. Both Williamses are through, and it is now 2nd and 3rd place for Owen White and JM. But really, pit stops are going to play a big part of this one, as Nick Egan has come out behind Colin Mason. Mercedes have swapped here. Undercut is currently powerful, as there's a yellow flag. It is for Okeke in sector number 2, and I feel the AlphaTauri's race may end before the regulated 35 laps.
Yeah, he's usually one to hang about and just keep going anyway, because you never know what happens, but he's certainly in a world of pain right now. But he's
had front wing damage as well, so it's not really gonna work out all too well for Okeke here. There's a yellow flag in sector. Yeah, there he is. Gone. Oh no, apologies. That is actually Lukey gone past Nick here. So Nick is really struggling on these hard compound tyres. J. Cole has gone on to the medium compound tyres. He's going to take the pain of the hards later. And Nick is under big pressure from J. Luke here. Let's see where J. Cole comes out of the pits. In retrospect to Colin Mason, I feel, is going to be the lead Mercedes at this point in the race. And we see J. Luke there on the pit exit. And if Colin Mason can play his cards right, he'll absolutely get an undercut here. But no, J. Cole has held on to the lead, and Colin Mason absolutely was late on the brakes. Nick has lost out here. Nick is losing big time. There's no damage for Nick or anything. He's genuinely just really struggling on those hard compound tyres. J. Cole doesn't have the mediums up to temperature yet. Colin Mason is right on the back of the Red Bull. Could Colin Mason possibly become the Mercedes to watch in this one? He's right on the back of the Red Bull, but the Red Bull's tyres are going to be getting up to temperature now, and this is not what Colin needs. He wants these Red Bull's tyres to be icy cold for possibly the entire race if he could get what he wants, but unfortunately we can't get what we want, and J. Cole's tyres will 100% be up to temperature now, and Colin Mason's going to have to do this one on pure pace, but he seems to have good pace on these medium tyres, and of course he'll get that drag reduction system assistance down the main straight. Nick has seemed to got up to temperature finally, but he's lost a few spaces in doing so, and now Colin Mason is all out on his own. J. Cole, however, has his teammate in front of him. 11.9 seconds up the road, mind you, but it is still a Red Bull racing car in front of him as Colin Mason exits the final corner. Can he get the run on J. Cole here? He's a bit back, and it's going to be a difficult move into turn number 1. No chance here. Colin will have to stick behind for the time being.
Yes, it's always good to know when you can make a move and when you can't, and that's a good example of knowing that maybe not this time, but you have to keep putting the pressure on.
Owen White has spun. It is our former race leader who was running second. Of course, that is without making a pit stop, but he has spun through turn number 4, and it's the second spin of the race for Owen White, and Waitsy is actually out of this one. He's retired in the pits, has Waitsy. Bowed out of it very early here.
Yes, it's a strange one to do that, but nevertheless, okay, he's still out there, and all he needs to do is hope that one more person does that in the pit soon, and he could guarantee himself.
Oh, Owen White, big spin. Big spin for Owen White. He's got to be overtaken here by J. Cole, and he pulls out of the way of J. Cole and Colin Mason, and I fear that maybe Owen's chance of a race win absolutely out the window now at this point.
Yes, especially when Larkin is now out in front on the hard tyre that he's got to the perfect temperatures. He's managing them really well with the air temperature at 26 degrees and track temperature is 34 degrees. It's a bit warmer than perhaps you might expect, but of course that would help the hard tyres potentially, but if you take too much of them at the start, then you will be in all sorts of trouble. But Owen White is now in the pit, and he looks to be fitting the hards as well. So let's see if he has any trouble getting them up to speed, as Thomas Mack will be going past him. So Owen White is in the final points playing position. Maybe not. No, maybe
we have an explanation for Waitsy's retirement. He forgot to lower the tyre pressures, so he was running qualifying tyre pressures and his tyres were just overheating like mad, and of course that causes oversteer and then it causes you to spin. So Waitsy with an understandable reason for bowing out of this one, as we see Nick get past J-Luke. J-Luke starting to struggle now on these medium tyres possibly, and I think something's happened to J-Luke here. Something has happened to J-Luke, because Snixel is right on the AlphaTauri's tail and Nick is clear. He's pulled a massive gap, and Snixel having to take avoiding action, and Wadey says it stops at 110 degrees after 4 laps. Whoa, that is bad. That is an understandable reason. That is pretty undrivable for poor Wadey, but the McLaren is out of the race and will only classify in 14th position. Nick back into DRS of Lukey, then Colin Orr Mason has dropped out of DRS of J. Cole. It's a Red Bull 1-2, but Larkin still has to make a pit stop. Schnixel up the inside of J-Luke. J-Luke with a fantastic dummy. AlphaTauri is on form with his overtakes. Why not be the pace that is the best? But he's on form with the overtakes, and J-Luke is only forced on the outside. Schnixel with a block pass to get the job done for 6th position. Excellent stuff for the Alfa Romeo. He covers off the inside even, heading into turn 4. Great move for Schnixel in the Alfa Romeo. He's up to 6th spot here in this race after starting in 5th position, but still technically 5th because Larkin of course still has to make a pit stop in the lead. We're on lap 11 here. You're watching One Hub Racing P2. My name is Evan Dalton and I'm joined alongside Matty. We do hope you're enjoying the fantastic coverage here. It's still going to be a great race to the finish here. We still have a fantastic championship fight on our hands, and it's one you do not want to miss. So make sure to pop a follow on the stream and join our Discord and check out all our sponsors. Of course, you can find them on our various social media pages. JM, though, the championship leader, is on the back of J-Luke looking for an overtake.
Yes, he certainly is, but behind that as well, you have Lukey is being harassed by Nick, who seems to be on the charge. You know, he's got those tyre temps up to where he feels comfortable with them, and he can really...
Here comes JM. JM's going to go up the inside of J-Luke here, and the Williams Racing man, the championship leader, has got up to 7th spot, and that's not a bad recovery after taking a grid penalty. J-Luke is trying one of his classical switchbacks. It didn't work out for him on the last time. Can it work out this time? He's going to force it the long way around the outside. His own Wyatt is out of the race, and that actually might be on the circuit. That may be on the circuit. That is on the circuit. He spun exiting the final corner again, of course. Don't know if many remember, but there was a brilliant Sebastian Vettel save back there all those years ago in his Red Bull. He didn't quite hit the wall. Unfortunately, Owen White didn't do it, and after taking the lead into the first corner, we didn't expect to be pronouncing an Owen White retirement on lap 12 in this one. He's had a real shocker, but back to the battle here. JM did succeed in that move on J-Luke, and now JM is on the back of Schnixel to possibly take what is provisionally 5th in this Hungarian Grand Prix, the ERT Budapest Grand Prix of Hungary to be exact. And Nick is harrying Lukey here, and I feel the Mercedesman is going to try and get past the Aston Martin on this or the next lap, as Lukey runs a bit of a wider line to the final corner, but it seems to be working for most. It was working for Owen White until it very much wasn't. Here comes JM. He's going to make it 2 and 2 laps into turn number 1, and the Williams Racing man is just going to have to brake a little bit later. Is Schnixel going to hold it around the outside? No, he isn't. Great move for JM. He's up to 6th. As Nick has actually got past Lukey. Nick has got the job done on Lukey. That was very quick.
Yes, I was going to say that's a fantastic move, but Nick has also got his move done. He was looking dangerous behind Lukey a couple of laps ago when we last checked in with that battle, but he's now got through and he looks to be very much in the hunt and in control of what he needs to be doing today to try and make it 2 wins in a row. And the 3rd overall of the season for him, but Colin Mason is his teammate on slightly better tyres at this stage of the race, so it's not going to be an easy task, and I'm not really sure how they stand with team orders. Is he going to say get out the way, I'm quicker than you, or is he just going to use multi-21 or things like that? I don't know what's going to go on in that team debrief, but one thing I do know is Larkin seems to be in complete and total control of this race, on lap 14.
Yep, complete and total control, and the thing about Larkin is he gets to go on to fantastic compounds of tyres after his first pit stop. Of course, you have to make 2 mandatory pit stops in one hub racing. All these guys have did their first apart from ERT Larkin in lead of the race. Not even halfway through yet. This has been a belter so far here in Hungary. J. Cole has pulled a 3.3 second gap on Colin or Mason. We thought Colin might have the pace to keep with him. He unfortunately doesn't. And Nick has clawed in 0.2 of a second since the turn of the lap counter. He is now 2.9 behind Colin or Mason. The only 2 guys who are within a second of each other is Cam on the back of Del Gesu. This is the battle for 9th. And well done to everybody, because if you finish the race, you're going to score points.
Yes, as we mentioned earlier, OKK was a lap down on about lap 2, but he's still trundling around there, and I said if someone ahead of him retires, then he can always keep the car on the road, or try to, and finish the race in the top 12, and you are guaranteed a point at the end of the day, which is good, and you could also get fastest lap outside the top 10 as well. So there's always that to play for too, but at the moment fastest lap overall belongs to Nick, who's absolutely flying on those hard tyres right now. He set the fastest lap earlier on different tyres, but yeah, OKK in P12, that is the last of the points paying positions in one-up racing.
JM was clawing in on Lukey, but that gap has extended slightly actually, and a funny thing here is Nick is also not catching his teammate. He has not gained anything since we last checked up with him at about this time of the last lap. But Colin is losing to J. Cole, so J. Cole is really the one with the commanding pace here in Hungary. He's looking to take the championship lead. If it finished like this, he would absolutely do so. He would pass JM, who's currently down in 6th. But of course the thing here is JM served his grid penalty tonight. J. Cole hasn't served his yet. He still has to do it.
Yes, and that could be key as to when he takes it. I expect he would do that next week, because if he doesn't, then, well, whatever he does next week won't count for anything, because I'm sure his engine will have exploded by the end of that race, so I'm pretty sure look for that one next week for confirmation, but I'm pretty sure that will be the track that he serves his penalty at.
JM right on the back of Lukey now. The Williams is hunting down the Aston Martin, the 2 British engineered cars. As we see JM possibly get past Lukey. Can he just get the power down quicker? I don't think he has got the power down quicker, but he certainly has the straight line speed. In with DRS, with slipstream, with battery, he's going to fly past Lukey. Is Lukey going to try hold it around the outside? I think if he did, it would just be a losing game. It's going to be a switchback manoeuvre for Lukey, and he's almost tagged the Williams racing car on his outside. Lukey is going to be squeezed onto the apex of this one, and JM is going to get the move done. JM is up to 5th, and really this man doesn't think he can win the title. Some of these moves definitely show he can. He's in the running for it, and JM is up to 5th here in the ERT Budapest Grand Prix of Hungary. Gap up the front is 2.4 seconds, but Larkin of course still has not made his opening pit stop in this one. His teammate J. Cole is 2.3 seconds behind, having made his pit stop. It's different strategies for Red Bull. It's worked out in Hungary before, can it work out in Hungary again? Of course, Larkin, your current race leader, was the winner the last time the P2 tier came to Hungary back in season 19. Larkin won in a Mercedes that day, so he's looking to try to take a win for Red Bull and really become a big factor in this championship fight. But as of right now, still 2 pit stops to make, a lot of work to do for Larkin, but he's going on to really good tyres.
Yes, it's going to be a fascinating battle, but again, Nick is just not making any inroads to his teammate at all.
And the flag sector 1. Oh, it's Thomas Mack going. Thomas Mack has gone a lap down, but I think he's having some trouble with his internet as Schnicksel is into the pits to serve his second mandatory pit stop. Interesting strategy called from himself. And J-Luke, who's also served his second mandatory pit stop now at the 17th lap out of 35 here in the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Yes, and of course, if a safety car wants to be deployed now, Schnicksel will be in a very fortunate and fantastic position, having done his stops and on the tyre to go to the end. I mean, there's a yellow in Sector 2, but that's probably just someone getting out of the way of the race leaders. So, Yeah, that's also Thomas Max had issues with his connection, as you rightly said. I don't know if he's in the car or not. It seems to be ghosting for me, but nevertheless, there's a lot of action still to come here in the closing half of this race.
6/10 is the gap between the Red Bulls. I can't imagine J. Cole's got to be held up here. Although they did say in the rivalry section of One Hub Racing interviews that there's no team orders. But I imagine Larkin will let his teammate slingshot by. They're on completely different strategies, and if these two guys go battling, it could really be reminiscent of Istanbul all those years ago between Mark Webber and Sebastian Vettel. Or as they said years ago, Sebastian Vettel, as Thomas Mack is retired from the race, and there's a few people in the pits. It's a Keke and it's a Lukey, as Del Gessu goes up to 6 now because of Lukey being in the pits. But J. Cole wasn't let through on the straight that time. Maybe team orders aren't going to come into play here for Red Bull. Is this going to be a genuine championship fight between the pair?
Yes, it's certainly looking that way so far, but maybe he just didn't feel like he was in a good position to try and get past. But of course, the longer these two stay there, then the closest Colin Mason will get, and that will bring in turn Nick with him, who's not anymore.
No, Nick has spun. Oh, he's reset the track as well.
Yeah, we caught you, buddy. That's not going to go down well with anybody, but... Nevertheless,
Nick has spun. That's a big mistake from Nick. We thought he could win this one. He doesn't have any front wing damage. Lucky for him. Lucky man in terms of that, because he could still bring himself back into this one, dependent on what these two Red Bull Racing cars do. Heading into turn number 1, Larkin has gone for the bigger weave. Colin Mason into the pits. Here we go. This is going to be the scrap. J. Cole to the outside, and Larkin defends the inside. There's no team orders here at Oracle Red Bull Racing. The two cars are dominating the Constructors' Championship. They're not dominating the Drivers' Championship, and they're going to continue battling for it. Larkin defends the inside, forcing J. Cole a long way around the outside. It's a turn number 3, side by side. Oh, so close for the two Red Bulls. If contact was made there, I think that would be the peak of the season for these two. J. Cole and Larkin, though, head in unison in towards turn number 5 and 6 and 7 here. But Larkin, he's scrapping for this one. No way is he letting his teammate through here, and JM is starting to gain some time on them both. Quite a lot of time on the boat as well. That dropped 2/10 in a matter of seconds. I suppose it literally is a matter of seconds.
Literally, yes. But a few moments ago we saw Nick have a spin, but he's for some reason Colin has now pit to the harder tyre, so that's got that out of the way. Nick is back up into P4, but of course I imagine he will be getting a bit of a telling off or resetting to track, which I'm sure...
Here we go again, though. The Red Bulls are going at it again, and Larkin holds to the inside. J. Cole to the outside. No funny business this time, is it, for J. Cole? Larkin, much later on the brakes into turn 1. He's going to force his teammate the long way around the outside. Great scrap here with the Red Bulls, but J. Cole has just got the exit on his teammate, and Larkin is going to have to produce something magical if he wants to hold on to the lead here on these older tyres. Tries to hook it in on the inside, but J. Cole runs the car wide and will take the lead of the race here on lap 20 out of 35. Larkin with still 2 pit stops to make. It's not looking good for a Larkin win here. It's looking brilliant for the other Red Bull of J. Cole to take the win here in ERT Budapest Grand Prix of Hungary. J. Cole and Larkin, though, this is the thing here. Larkin really wants to pit this lap because J. Cole's going to be looking to use the pit box anytime soon as well.
Yes, exactly. It's going to be interesting to see who gets the advantage. Lead car usually gets a stop, but of course Larkin needs to stop twice, and I know he's probably going to go for 2 softs towards the end of the race if he can just coax these hards another few laps or so. That is very much possible, but when J. Cole decides to ditch the mediums, it could well
Larkin's
be
in.
as well.
Larkin is in. He's gone in after his teammate eventually got through, and the Red Bullman is on a peculiar strategy. Certainly a peculiar strategy here, but JM caught a lot of time while those two were battling. He's in second. He's in a world of his own. He's the only man on the straight, but Nick has entered it now, and Larkin, as you said, Matthew, spot on the money once again. It's going to be 2 soft to the end for Larkin.
Yeah, it's a very brave goal to try that, but of course he will have monumental pace for a few laps, and of course he will be having to watch them carefully towards the end of the stint. He could even go soft, try and force a mistake from the drivers in front and go mediums just to be safe. But I expect him to be aggressive with this and go double softs, which he will see short in about 10 or so minutes what way he's going to go with that. And of course, if there were a safety car now, then he could always put the mediums on and he doesn't lose any time. And then it's the best tyres on the field versus everybody else. And what can you do with those? But there's still a long way to go. Nick is battling back. He's up into P3, but he's nowhere near anybody else at this stage. And Larkin is already gaining up and catching Del Gessu on the soft tyres, as you would expect. Del Gessu on the hards. It's probably not going to be very hardly fought by Del Gessu, who's on a different strategy. This is not his race, but nevertheless, Larkin is going to give it absolutely everything when he can. And of course, Cam up into P6. That is a great comeback considering he stopped early as well. So there's still action to do here in the P2 tier.
Here comes Larkin. He's going to take P4. I don't even think we really need to question it. Those soft tyres are lit up and they are ready to pounce. It's 4 seconds to his championship rival of ERT, Nick Egan. Let's see how much that'll close over the following lap. Lap 22 here. Let us know down below your prediction for the rest of the race. We definitely want to hear it. I think it's a difficult one to predict because of so many different strategies. Larkin's 5/10 purple in sector number 1. Well, I mean, there's no questions really here. He's going to set the fastest lap of the race. He's gained 3/10 on Nick in sector 1 alone. Nick pulls a little bit back through the chicane section, but that's where Nick had his spin, of course, was through the chicane section as well. So it seems to be around Hungary, where these guys are quick, is where their mistakes will show. And Larkin has almost caught a full second on Nick in this lap. Look, you can see him up the road there. It's 1.5 seconds purple for Larkin. He's won here in the Hungary ring before, back in season 19. If he could do it again here in season 21, it would really be a statement of intent, as Nick is actually into the pits. Will it be mediums to the... No, he can't really go mediums to the end. He's already been on them.
Yeah, that's... might be a reactionary call, but I mean,
it is mediums.
Use them for a bit. Yeah, I mean, they won't be completely sharp.
They're fresh mediums though for Nick. Oh no, he's on the softs at the start of the race. I do apologise.
Yeah, yes.
It was the softs at the start of the race for Nick.
Yeah, will be ideal for him, and let's see what he can do with the fresh rubber underneath him.
Fastest lap of the race, of course, went to this man ERT Larkin, and Nick has come out of the pits. He hasn't come out in traffic, quite crucially, because Cam also pit as well for a fresh set of mediums. So Nick is down to 9th place in this one. It's going to be a difficult comeback for Nick, but it's something he can certainly do. He'd love to finish on the podium here in Hungary after qualifying second, just ahead of his teammate Colin O'Mason in third. Neither Mercedes is on the podium. Both Red Bulls are. That is crucial here. Of course, Red Bull pretty much have the Constructors' Championship all but mathematically wrapped up. It's the Drivers' Championship that these guys are all fighting for. There's little to no point separating them. JM is in second and would keep his championship lead heading into the next round. Yellow flag in sector number 3, and I think it was a Keke who went round there.
Yes, it seems to be. He's just getting out the way of cars that are lapping him again. He's just very considerate with that, and sometimes I think he goes way too far off track just to make sure he doesn't impede them, which is always fair enough. He's had a full stop day today, but yeah, it's very much ramping up here in the closing stages, and I think we're going to have an explosive grandstand finale here.
I'm hoping this is all building in a bit of a crescendo. Nick has set his fastest sector 3 of the session, of the race so far, so he is lapping well, and Larkin is clawing in his teammate and JM. Thing here is, all of these guys have to make another pit stop. All meaning the top 3. I do apologise, I should have clarified that one, but you can see there, the top 4 actually all have to make a second pit stop. Fair play to the Keke for still going after 4 pit stops and a minute and 27 behind the nearest car. He is a lap down on everybody in the field, but he's still carrying on. He wants to pick up some points, and I can respect that, I really can. Yellow flag in sector 3, and we mentioned his name. He's unfortunately had a bit of a spin.
Yeah, he's
now, unfortunately, 2 laps down to everybody, I believe.
I've been there tonight.
As Del Gesu into the pits for his second pit stop. Is it can the softs make the end from here, or is mediums a safe call? Well, he's going for softs, but can they make the end realistically?
No, they probably shouldn't. They could if you don't drive very fast. But that's going to be the key, really, isn't it? How do you manage the tyre temperatures? And of course, you could always get lucky and have a bit of a virtual, which takes the pressure off, so to speak. But there's still, it's a very big ask to get them to the end. They can have a lifespan of 10 laps, but they wouldn't be very useful to the final 2. It will be like driving on ice. So he could well benefit, or he could well have cost himself a few positions come the end of the race. We'll see. In course, we have about we're on lap 25 out of 35, so we are getting towards the closing stages here in Hungary, and it's still anyone's guess as to who. I mean, Colin is in the box seat here for the win. We picked his teammate before the race. His teammate is not having a great race. He's net P5, which is still okay, but the top 3, as it stands, still need to pit again for risk disqualification from the results if they do not. So Colin is our net race leader.
There's been 5 maiden winners in Hungary in Formula 1 over the years. Jensen Button, Fernando Alonso, Heikki Kovalainen and Esteban Ocon. We are nowhere near on course for a maiden victory here tonight in the P2 tier. Almost anybody on this grid has a race win in their belt, and those who don't, unfortunately, don't look like they will be getting them. But yeah, Colin or Mason has made his 2 pit stops. That's the thing. I personally keep forgetting he's made his 2 pit stops, but his gap to the leader is 21.7 seconds, and I fear when J. Cole pits and comes out on fresh tyres, it may be like a duck in a swimming race. It'll be fairly easy for J. Cole to overtake the Welshman.
Well, I guess that would depend what the duck is swimming against, really, but
yeah, I don't really know what I was saying there. As it's a yellow flag, it was Lukey around, and Lukey has unfortunately made a mistake, and the Aston Martin has lost possibly P5. He's down to P8 now, but JM is into the pits, and we'll see where our current championship leader has got to come out. It's soft to the end, and they'll make this a bit more comfortable here. They definitely will. We'll see where the Williams will come out. Nick is right on the back of Schnicksel here. Nick on the mediums. I think JM is well clear of Nick, as Nick is going to fly past Schnicksel. Just look at the straight line speed Nick has in towards turn number 1. It's 6th spot for Nick now, and he's going to be on the hunt to get past J. Luke and possibly catch up to JM, but I don't think he is going to catch up to JM, because JM, of course, is on the softs, and that gives you an indication. He is 6.3 seconds off Colin or Mason, who is currently on the podium. Larkin in second still has to make a pit stop, and so does his teammate J. Cole. Is J. Cole going to pit this lap to cover off a possible undercut attempt from JM? It would be a sensible choice if he did so, but we have to wait and see. Although, the thing about J. Cole here is, J. Cole, if we just check our race director fairly quickly, folks, J. Cole started on the soft tyres. Will he have another fresh set to go on? Because he did do qualifying, where Larkin didn't, so he's another fresh set, and Larkin's actually into the pits here.
Yes, it's going to be interesting to see if he does have, maybe he saved one. I didn't think he did 4 runs. Perhaps he saved a set from quali. I don't fully understand the situation, but he's definitely did start on the softs. He's definitely on the mediums now. What he does at the end, only he knows at this point, and we will see that in due course. But that
Larkin is going to come out behind Nick and Schnicksel, so that could be Larkin's chance of this race win gone. JM is now 5 seconds behind Colin or Mason, and Colin Mason is gaining on J. Cole, folks, so Colin Mason is in prime position to take the win here.
Yes, he's very, very good to the end on those hard tyres there. Nicely up to temperature now. They've got 9 laps of use on them, so he should know where the grip is and where it isn't. And of course, he is definitely gaining on J. Cole. And if J. Cole pits now, Colin would overtake him in the pit lane anyway, as he doesn't have enough of a gap to pit safely, and he does indeed pit now. So, race is well and truly on here in the closing stages.
There goes J. Cole into the pits. It is 4 seconds now for JM and Colin Mason. This is really, really heaving up. Where will J. Cole come out? He's exit the box now, but where will he leave the pit lane? Colin Mason rounds the final corner, and will J. Cole come out in front or behind JM? That's another question here, because if J. Cole and JM are two title rivals start battling, no, J. Cole, he's going to come out in the lead of the race. J. Cole is going to come out in the lead of the race here, and he's on the soft tyres, meaning he will come out in the lead of the race, get those up to temperature, and that could be it decided. J. Cole is probably going to win this one here. Larkin is down the inside of Schnitzler in the other Red Bull, but this race might have just been decided here on lap 29 here in the Hungaroring.
It certainly looks that way, but the tyres would have been cold, so it's probably not ideal for him to be pushing them the way that he is, because they're not guaranteed to give you the grip you need. Colin is going to do everything he can to try and force a mistake out of the car in front, especially on those coldish tyres, but they are beginning to get back up to the correct temperatures now, and that is it definitely could well have decided this race. It was a brave effort there, but I think such as the advantage of the soft tyres that J. Cole was on to the hards of Colin, I think that is where the race could well have been won, but we will see in due course if that's still the case or not. And of course Nick is harrying, and he's on the gearbox of J-Luke. He should surely be going into P4, into turn 1 on this lap. So it's all up and down the grid, and I have no idea who's going to finish where.
Here comes Nick past J-Luke, and JM is going to be right on the back of Colin Mason as well, and I think it's very important that JM gets that done ASAP. I think this race would have been a lot more interesting if J. Cole had come out behind Colin Mason, because then JM would have been on the pounce, but J. Cole he's gone off into the sunset here, and I really would like to see another battle between JM and J. Cole. The two title rivals came to blows in Imola. Will they come to blows again in Hungary? I do not think so. J. Cole and JM, they're both gaining the same amount of time, but the big thing here is JM has a Mercedes in front of him. J. Cole's not.
Yes, that is a very big buffer to have, a Mercedes that he's pretty quick on those tyres for what they are. He's not going to make it easy, but I think JM should have the performance advantage, even though we are on three laps old already. Nick behind JM is not going to be anywhere near the podium today, I don't think, unless something very strange happens in the closing stages. But this is JM making a move for P2.
He's going to have to get it done here. He's going to have to get it done instantly, because this is painful to be sat behind the Mercedes, but the Mercedes has really good straight line speed. It's going to have to be really late in the brakes for JM. He doesn't go for it. JM has possibly just raised the white flag in that move and has just handed the win to J. Cole. JM, I think, might just be going for second place in this one.
Yeah, sometimes discretion is the better part of valour, but I think there was enough of a gap for him to try the move.
Oh no, he spun!
No,
out of the race goes the championship leader!
That is what happens when you are pushing.
The safety car has been brought out, and controversial circumstances are never far away here in the Hungaroring. It would have taken a miracle for JM to win the race. He's not going to score good points at all here. It was a major error for the championship leader heading through turn number 3. He is spun it in the flat out corner, and J. Cole now will be under pressure for this race win, but J. Cole's going to be laughing. His championship leader is out of the race, and the most controversial circumstances here have arose. The Mercedes are back in prime position once again.
They certainly are. Will Colin use this opportunity to put on some more soft tyres, presumably he has any? Nick, again, are the Mercedes going to go for soft tyres? Is J-Luke going to do anything?
J. Cole stays out. Nick is Colin, apologies, is in. Nick looks like he's backing up his Delta slight bit to pit as well. What's Nick going to do? Nick stays out on the mediums. J-Luke dives into the pits, and Larkin as well on the fresh soft stays out. Where's Colin Mason going to come out? Colin Mason's not going to come out here on the podium. He's going to be on fresh softs, but I think Colin Mason may come out behind Larkin. Schnicksel's in, Delgessu's in, so he should be okay here. Colin is going to come out in... He's going to come out behind Cam. He's come out behind Cam. Cam in 4th is ahead of Colin Mason. That's big for the Welshman.
Yeah, has Cam just stealthed his way to a potential podium finish here? Because that Ferrari came out of nowhere. I didn't even think he was anywhere in the picture. I didn't think he'd entered the competition. But he could be the big winner of the day as he puts his wheel on the outside, but he should be fine with that. But that is a monumental string of events, and yeah, I'm not even sure they're going to see DRS again.
I think J. Cole may still be able to take this one if he gets the restart.
Yeah.
Because J. Cole's biggest threat in this one, although it is Nick behind, it's his teammate Larkin.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting. When do you go? Do you go late? Do you go early? Do you catch everyone sleeping? Well, what do you do? If you're J. Cole, I would go potentially as late as possible to give myself the best chance of keeping the lead into turn 1.
Oh, this is going to be a very, very interesting one. Colin Mason might still end up on the podium. He might still beat Nick. Who really knows? And okay, he's going to get a top 10 out of this. That's what you get for keep going. Just keep going. Absolutely. He's going to get a top 10.
Yeah, it's a wonderful to see when you're like multiple laps down and you keep going and you're going to benefit. It's always good to see that persistence pays off here in one race. In every position and every point it matters to all the drivers, especially so when you've had an absolute shocking season and you still keep turning up every week and you still keep going despite the rough beginnings. He's a very much, I guess, the driver you think of when you think of maybe the going gets tough, or you know, just keep turning up every week and finishing races. You never know what's going to happen. It's the epitome of professionalism is Okeke, and it's an honour to watch him race every week. And I'm hoping his luck turns around soon.
I really do hope his luck turns around soon. But the Hungaroring is it's a circuit of good stories. Of course, there's only been one Hungarian driver to compete in the Hungarian Grand Prix, and I'm probably going to butcher this name a little bit, but Zsolt Baumgartner raced here twice, the only Hungarian to do so. In 2003, he unfortunately had an engine failure while driving his Jordan, and in 2004 he finished 15th for Minardi. He had a best finish in his F1 career of 8th in Indianapolis, and unfortunately his F1 career only lasted one full season. 2003 was a reserve entry, but as we were saying, good stories. He is now the official track guide for the Hungaroring, so he's doing really well for himself. Safety car is in this lap. Let's get back to business. J. Cole will lead ahead of Nick in 2nd and Larkin in 3rd. Cam will be 4th. Then it is Colin Mason, J. Luke, Schnicksel, Delgessu, Lukey and Okeke. Okeke is not going to catch up here, unfortunately, but he is 2 laps down anyways, so there'll be no positions gained for him. Oh my goodness me, Nick has spun it!
Oh no, not again.
Nick has spun it on their safety car restart. Oracle Red Bull Racing versus Oracle Red Bull Racing is now on the cards. J. Cole gets us underway, and we go racing here in the Hungaroring. Once again, Colin is already looking for the podium past Cam. He's got to try and go the long way around the outside of the Ferrari, and Colin has got the switchback on the Ferrari, and Colin on the best tyres here may not be out of this one just yet. He's got to go for 3rd here. Oh, it's hell for Cam, and Cam's gone round. The Ferrari has gone round and is facing the wall. Tried to keep the car up the inside. It did not work. There was no team orders earlier for Red Bull. We're not going to see DRS once again, but we are going to see, hopefully, a scrap between 2 of the best. Oriel Jacob versus ERT Larkin. They're in a championship fight. They're in an inter-team battle. They're in a battle to win the Hungarian Grand Prix. Into Sector 2. Who gets the best run? Larkin has arguably been the quicker driver all day, but in compared to now, it's a different story. Who has the bigger bottle is what they say. Colin Mason may have just confirmed himself a P3 in this one, but as he doesn't seem to be back catching the front two. Can J. Cole get the run out of the final corner? We've seen a battle, got a taste of this earlier with Larkin on the old tyres. He defended very well for 2 laps, but it did not last. Here we go, down the main straight for the second final time, and the final time into turn number 1. Larkin is not close enough. The fastest lap of the race has been set by J. Luke. In fact, it is the sister team to Red Bull Powertrains that has set the fastest lap. Larkin doesn't seem to be catching enough here. There's 5 tenths separating these two, and a mistake by one of these would cost possibly a race win. J. Luke is hounding Colin Mason here, and they'll guess who is hounding Nick. J. Luke does have a penalty though, so Colin would still get that podium position unless J. Luke could get that removed. Here we go, in towards turn number 4. Larkin's a 10th up on his previous best lap, but there's no real overtaking opportunities for Larkin left in this one. I think J. Cole may take another race win here, but Larkin is still hounding him. It doesn't seem to be going well for him though, as he's dropping time.
Yeah, no, I don't think Jelly's going to get that penalty removed. He's on 5 warnings, so I don't think anything's going to be removed from the stewards. But
I don't think so, but Larkin is not going to be able to take a second win in a row here in the Hungaroring. It's 9 tenths of a second between him and his teammate, and his teammate is the quicker man on the day here in the Hungaroring. Ease the throttle. We see Nick spin there, but rounding the final corner, Red Bull are going to bring home a 1-2 with Larkin from the back. But J. Cole, your new championship leader, takes his second win of the season in the Hungaroring. Colin Mason will finish third after some poor results. He will be back. Hero of the month was his father John, but hero of the night is Colin Mason in third, and he beats Nick for the first time this season. Nick finishes in 4th. But Red Bull 1-2 in Hungary, we did not expect that one coming into it.
No, that was never on the cards really, and the in-game driver of the day goes to Larkin. We'll sort that out very shortly when we have a little chat after the race about who we think is driver of the day. But I have absolutely no idea what I've just witnessed, but it was a really good race.
A really good race, but Nick is not going to be feeling too good after it. 2 big mistakes. He still got 4th in the end, so it was still a slight recovery, but 2 big mistakes it could cost them the championship. Who knows? But it's Red Bull's day. They'll celebrate with a 1-2. It'll be J. Cole who leads home Larkin, and the inter-team battle in Red Bull just gets a little bit spicier.
It certainly does, and this is going to ramp up the pressure on both drivers every week if they keep performing like this. It's all looking good for a final race shootout for the championship though, but the constructors is pretty much you can probably just write that name already, but anything can happen in the next few weeks, and it very usually does. But yeah,
can happen. It's a Red Bull 1-2 in Hungary. It is Uriel J. Cole who wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. Larkin in 2nd with Colin Mason in 3rd, Nick in 4th, Del Kesu in 5th, Lukey in 6th, Nixel in 7th, J. Luke in 8th, Cam in 9th, Akeke 10th, followed by JM in 11th, who unfortunately did not finish, and that could be title deciding. The other non-finishers were Thomas Mack, Owen White, Waitsy and Fatality. Matthew, who's your driver of the day?
Well, I'm gonna have to club for Larkin, who came from 10th to finish 2nd and was in control for much of the race. But the question I would like to ask him is, if you would have started off the softs, do you think perhaps you would be the winner today?
For my driver, I'm going to go for Colin Mason. I think he earns a driver of the day nominee, and someone will probably feel that we've snubbed the race winner a little bit here, but I'm going to go for Colin Mason and simply ask, how does it feel to score your first podium of the season? But yeah, that is the end of a tiring evening for the drivers, but a fantastic race to watch. Going into the next race, it's going to be oh so close, and you don't want to miss any of the One Hub Racing action. You can find more now on our YouTube channel for the P1 tier. That is with Liam and Jamie. If you want to go tune into that, feel free to. But if you want to wait until next week for us here in the P2 tier, you can catch us heading over to sunny Barcelona. It's the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, in the beautiful town of Montemelo. It's a lovely place, and hopefully a lovely race. But Matthew, what's your final thoughts on that one?
It's beginning to get good in this tier, isn't it?
It really is. It is really getting good. And there was mistakes today. We expected mistakes, and we're probably going to get a few more next week in Spain. We'll see who they'll come from.
Yeah, it's one not to be missed, folks. I think.
Definitely, but. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that is all for now. Thank you for joining us, and of course on what was a sad occasion for Manny today. We have had a great race to celebrate lots of different things this evening. But thank you all once again, ladies and gentlemen, from wherever you're watching 100 Racing P2 tier. We really appreciate your support here, and if you comment on the stream or even if you just tune in, thank you very much. My name has been Evan. I was joined by Matthew. Stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you next time.